Okay, so we want to go ahead and go over 1.4. Where they're again just going to talk about in 1.4 the outline, the summary, the I guess largest democratic ideals or values that are found now that we have created the Constitution and it now is in practice. So we're just going to go through this relatively quick because some of the things we mentioned in here have already been talked about and discussed in class. So this is kind of just a short briefing. Now once we finish 1.4 notes, we're finished with Unit 1. So therefore, you need to be ready for some form of a test, whether it be essay or short answer of some sort. So we're going to work on that. But anyway, with 1.4, you do need to remember that there again, under the establishment of the Constitution, which is going to lay the framework as far as the United States government as a three-branch system of government. Remember, we took this idea from Baron de Montesquieu, a French political philosopher. Many will know that that's one of the reasons why that we have lasted as long as we have as a governmental system, because of the three-branch system of government. Please remember, just in review here, that the executive branch, the President of the United States, is part of the executive branch. His duty is to enforce the laws. He is the executive leader, and his authority is based on the consent of the people. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean, well, as a matter of fact, it doesn't mean that just because the President is part of the executive branch, and so many times we do that, we think that the President is the only person in the executive branch, and that's far from the truth, and we'll learn that in greater detail in further units. The executive branch is really a bureaucracy, and there's a lot of people that work in the executive branch to help the President out. So, I mean, he's not just in Washington calling the shots, and taking on everything. I mean, not to say that he's not busy or anything like that, but he has a lot of people working under him. So we'll get into that in greater detail. The judicial branch of government, there again, consists of the 9 Supreme Court judges, the Chief Justice, and then his associate justices, 8 of those, and then 1 chief, giving you a total of 9 Supreme Court justices. Their job is to interpret the law, to examine and study the Constitution, and to certainly settle disputes that would be, in possibility of violating the Constitution. So they also have a lot of power as well, especially with the concept of judicial review, and we'll learn more about that later. The legislative branch, there again, is your Congress, is divided into 2 houses, just like we talked about in 1.3, the House of Representatives and the Senate, which will establish laws. So the legislative branch of government is about making laws. The President in the executive branch is about enforcing, and the judicial branch of government is about studying and interpreting laws. So all 3 branches have their own specific duties, and please remember that these branches of government are, one is not any more powerful than the other, because there's the system of checks and balances. What one branch of government does, they have to check with the other. This holds each branch of government in check, and it keeps the power sort of equal. And there again, that's been very successful for the United States, all of these years. But please know that there again, there is a separation of powers. We also run under the rule of law. Okay, remember, all the way back to the Magna Carta of 1215 in our notes is the first time the rule of law is manifested or seen. We use that when we help shape our government. All right, the rule of law, nobody is above the law. There again, no individual, even the President, is above the law in any way. If an official breaks the law, they must be treated like any other citizen. This keeps everything fair, equal, and just, or at least it should anyway. Please remember, that's what we operate under in the United States. People don't rule, okay, as in direct democracies. We're not a direct democracy. People are not calling the shots. What is calling the shots? The law is what's calling the shots. So there again, in republics, the law is what rules. So there again, you need to be able to know that we are most likened to a republic because the law is what rules. And I tell you, anytime that you get in a situation where people think that they're above the law, you have a real serious problem on your hands. So it has to be upheld at all times. And certainly we try our best to incorporate that as far as being a republic. But just remember that rule of law is structured in our governmental system. We also run under the idea of limited government. Founding Fathers based the United States Constitution on the principles of popular sovereignty. Popular sovereignty is the belief that the governments are created by and are subject to the will of the people. So, I mean, you can see at the beginning of the U.S. Constitution with the preamble, it starts out as "We the people." This implies straight out of the gate, okay, when you observe the Constitution, that popular sovereignty is a principle that is found in the U.S. Constitution. It is the people that is driving the government, okay? There are certain rights and certain freedoms that are put on the, or allowed or issued to common man or the citizen. So that limits the government's power. So there is popular sovereignty in the Constitution, and then there is the talkings of a limited government. It means that the government too must obey a body of law. So we force the government to be subordinate to the law as well. And so there again, this limits the government's power. The government is not free to do whatever it wants to do because it has to adhere to a system of laws just like the citizens do. All right, so when you do this, you give the say-so to the people, and there again, you help limit the government's power. When you hold the government to a system of laws, just like the citizens, you limit the power as well. So we want you to see that under the Constitution, there is the promotion of popular sovereignty, there is a promotion of limited government. So make sure that you know that as well. All right, and there again, the question is a republic or democracy. Much debate is made as to whether the U.S. is a republic or a democracy. Please remember there again, just to review, a democracy is a form of government in which citizens make the laws. That's not necessarily the way we operate today. A republic is a form of government in which we elect representatives and they work on our behalf. Rome was a clear depiction of a form of republic style of government, in which it consisted of an executive and a legislative branch of government. And that's what we most mirror. We elect representatives and they work for us. If they don't do a good job, then we don't re-elect them, okay? So there again, founders preferred a representative republic form of government in which many interests can be represented in legislature. All right, so that's why we are a republic. We're a republic there again because we incorporate the rule of law, not the rule of people. We are a republic because we elect representatives. We are a republic because most republics in yesteryear have a branch system of government in which democracies do not. All right, so it's there's plenty enough evidence to tip the hat, so to speak, to America being a republic. So you definitely need to know that. We are a constitutional republic. Some people will at times say a representative democracy, but I think it's better fitting to say we're a constitutional republic. Some of the philosophies that's found as far as our governmental system is that everyone is entitled to unalienable rights. Unalienable rights, rights consisting such as life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. Sometimes we call unalienable rights God-given rights. Sometimes we call them natural rights. But remember, they are rights that are given by God the way that they observe that no government can take away. Some countries look at your rights are given to by the government. There again, as far as the unalienable right, we say that, that doesn't come from government. That comes from a higher divine source, and that is God Himself, and no government can take that away. So that is found in our notable documents such as the Declaration of Independence. So remember, unalienable rights. It's a philosophical idea in our governmental system. The consent of the governed. A phrase from the Declaration of Independence implies that the right of the people to alter, abolish, do away with any form of government that becomes destructive. Remember, Thomas Jefferson in the Declaration of Independence is heavily influenced by John Locke. John Locke believed in a social contract theory. Remember that a social contract theory is where both government and citizens agree. The citizen agrees to being governed, and the government agrees to protecting and providing certain needs and things for the citizen. So it's a contract, it's an agreement. The citizen says, I'm willing to be governed. So the government says, all right, we will provide a body of laws to promote peace, to promote protection, to help you out. All right? And any time that those contracts are broken down, especially on the government side, Thomas Jefferson says in the Declaration of Independence that they should be done away with and a new government should be established. All right, states there again that the new government can be formed by the people. So the social contract, the idea of social contract and consent of the governed sort of go hand in hand and follow the same principle. Okay, the government can only do as people give permission for the government to do. That is sort of the implication there under the phrase consent of the governed. Okay, so make sure you know those two philosophical ideas. All right, the promotion of equality. Framers of the Constitution had this in mind in regards to equality in America, and that really didn't come to suit, during this time period, because there again, of course, there is a blight still in American society, and it is the issue of slavery. So, of course, it all looks good on paper, but we still have to work some things out, and it's going to take some time to be able and we're still working as far as equality. But there again, at least we're moving forward. We've got a long way to go, but at least we're moving forward, and we want to move forward. Let's put it that way. I think sort of paraphrased, Franklin Roosevelt said that during the Depression. Well, you could sort of liken that as well to equality in America. We want to keep moving forward when it comes to equity. But anyway, the framers of the Constitution had this in mind in regards to equality. Everyone should have an opportunity, okay? Now, if everyone has the same outcome, we don't have capitalism, we have socialism. Okay, so you need to know that. Everyone has an opportunity. Okay, there's nothing going to keep you from doing what you want to do after you leave high school. Some are going to go to college, some are going to go straight to work. Everybody's got an opportunity to go and be and do. Okay, and this is the land of opportunity. That's why immigrants will flood into this place, because they know that this place is a land of opportunity. All right, we don't build walls in the United States to keep people in. We build walls to be able to keep people out. I mean, so that ought to show you, that that this is the greatest nation on earth. I mean, even the people who protest and the people who, burn flags and things like that. This is the only country that you can do that kind of stuff, and we don't force anybody to leave. Guess what? The people that are doing that, they're still here. So there again, it is the greatest nation on earth, because there again, we promote opportunity. So very important that you see that. Everybody's outcome is different. Some people gonna make $15,000 a year. Some people gonna make $40,000. Some people gonna make $70,000. Please remember, even in the Jamestown colony, they scratched the whole outcome being the same, because productivity was going down the toilet. All right. They said give everybody an opportunity, but everybody's outcome gonna be different. All right. So that's the way it runs in America. Everybody's outcome is not equally the same. Okay. Because if it is, then it's socialism. It's an element of collection here that we don't really enforce. We're more capitalistic based. Everybody has an opportunity, but everybody's outcome is totally different. So we want to be equal when it comes to opportunity. We want to give everybody the opportunity to be and do. And it's took laws and things like that to level the playing field and so forth. Whether you agree with that or whether you disagree with that, that's what's happened. With affirmative action in the 60s and things like that. But nevertheless, the way that we set this up is that everybody ought to have an opportunity. Everybody has equal protection, or that's the way it should be. Everyone has the right to protection under the law. Example, the Fifth Amendment. Okay, every person is entitled to due process of law, fair, equal treatment in a court of law. Okay, and we talk more about that as the civic units roll on. But there again, there should be equality when it comes to protective matters. The national government represents all the people. No group would be able to be ignored, or ignore the rights of everyone else. So there again, these things have took time. Okay, no question about it, and we're still making progress with that. We still have ways to go, no question. But there again, we have to be, glad that we live in the United States of America, where there is a strong promotion of equality when it comes to opportunity, when it comes to protection, and when it comes to the national government representing the people as a whole. So that should do it as far as these notes is concerned. There again, Make sure you take good notes on that. This is the last note that we take. There will be a notebook check. There will be a test come Monday. So I'm not going to issue out anything as far as you need to study. It's probably going to be something essay related. So make sure that you are ready for test day. All right. Have a good day.